Hey, what's going on, everyone? Chicago Trader checking in for the weekly fundamental video here. Hope you guys are having a nice week. Going to be doing this one kind of middle of the week. I'm going to be out on the weekend, so if I miss something that moves, Thursday or Friday, I apologize in advance. But just a few names that moved after Labor Day weekend this week, or just had some news I thought was interesting that could share and maybe learn a little bit about. This one was actually a little bit older, SLDB, larger company. If I pull up a chart here, you can see that this thing was back in the 30s. Has had a nice little move here, but they did a private placement back here for $60 million, and the thing has run really nicely since. I think, in my opinion, of course, which is just this is not investment advice on my behalf or MIC's guys, as you guys probably know. Pipes, a lot of times they have to hold them for at least a month. Generally, you get a few holders that are, more longer term, so it's a little bit better incentive wise, in my opinion, than some of these other offerings, ATMs, convertibles, obviously, so on and so forth. So you can see, let me bring up the 6K or 8K here. There's 60 million in a pipe. Reason I'm bringing this up, on the 3rd here of September, they have this S3, and basically it's just registering these shares. You can see that you can kind of come down and look at it, the selling stockholders. So again, this is $60 million, so they're probably not going to dump this all at once or twice. Again, generally a little bit more longer term players do these larger pipes. Once this gets effect, I don't know if it does or not. Nope, doesn't look like it has effect. They can sell, a little bit here and there if they want to, or they can hold on to it or try to dump it all at once. Um, Another one, so I think 2 weeks ago I mentioned Solely. They had a PR the day of their lockup expiration, and it actually held up fairly well into the next few days. But another one that had a PR and kind of popped pre-market was SWAV. Basically, I kind of got to looking at the chart and I was like, wow, this thing is exactly like 180 days. And actually, if you come, there's a website here, SEC Lockup. You can actually see which stocks are locked up for the week are going to be lockup expiring. So on the 3rd was when the PR came. So after the 3rd is when they can start selling. This thing was open, I think, around 44 in pre-market. You can see that it barely even held any gains here. What else was on there? I guess I can take a look at Solely. So Solely from last week, like I mentioned, I think around 12 or 13. Yeah, so it's still holding up pretty well. Has obviously had a little bit bigger move than SWAT, SWAV. OPGN was definitely an interesting one, a little bit low float, recent reverse split. I was kind of coming in here. This is one of those that's a nano float, and I think there's under $1 million in the float. Very low on cash, so you can see as of July 1st, there's $3 million. Losing about $850,000 a month, which would put them, under about, right around 2 months of cash. But this thing ran from what, 5 to I think 14, 13 or something like that. So kind of hard just to short it on the notion that they're going to carry, offer some paper. The news was that they came out with this, this agreement. What I thought was interesting too. So they're actually, I think they're buying. Yeah, they're buying the other company, and they're going to give them convertible shares. H.C. Wainwright's kind of helping with the business combination, of course. But yeah, you can see here that they're this Curatus is entitled to 2.6 million shares of convertible now, which is basically how they're going to pay for the combination of businesses. So if you come over here and click on a couple of these these are basically filings that are kind of associated with these. Let me see. Hang on here with me, guys and gals. I'm going to show you now. I think it was S1. Yeah, so actually, if you come down here to page 49, it actually mentions that they're going to probably register an S1 to try to raise up to $10 million. It's a little bit larger of a company. The last offering they did was pretty toxic. And then if you click on this other one, it kind of just gives you a slideshow here talking about, some of the revenues they're going to be estimated, cash, kind of what they're going to be doing with the new business. Just to kind of confirm this, yeah, you can see this. OPGN is committed to raise capital of $10 million in the second half of 2019. So be interesting to see what they do with it. But things sold off extremely hard. The only other thing that I saw that was kind of interesting that moved was another low floater, tops. So this one, I think one of my first or second videos, which was, gosh, I mean, over a year ago, right around a year ago, is kind of going to be on the same topic, but I figured I would rehash it. So family trading. So a lot of times, guys, what these companies will do is, obviously Tops is a complete, piece of shit. They can't find, much financing. So this is actually the CEO's company. So they'll lend the company money. The CEO receives interest, kind of on the convertible debt or the debt that he issues to them. So they came out with some news I thought was interesting. So right here you can I was kind of reading through it. And this was a little bit, basically at the end of March, they announced a sale of 27 million shares, 27,000 shares of Series E convertible to Family Trading, which again is this guy's, I don't even know how to say his name, company. So again, it's a win-win for the company Tops, right? So they get this money, they take the debt, and they're just going to convert it and dump it off into shareholders. The CEO probably doesn't own very much stock, and his company Family Trade is going to be taking in some interest on the money that they lend. And what was the other thing? Yeah, so then if you want to kind of look at the Series E, so again, this was filed on the 3rd. The conversion price is $20 or 80% of the lowest VWAP. So again, that's kind of where that they get you, is they can exercise these at 80% of VWAP. So you kind of come back here, so you can see the ownership filings, Family Trading. So they own 74% of the company. So this was filed before the reverse split. So before the reverse split, there was 31 million shares outstanding, and you can see here that the 23 million shares are convertible. That's where you get the 74%. If you divide this by the 31 million, and if you come down here, I'll have to double check on this. I'm just not seeing this. Never mind. What else was there? That was it. CDTX was another one that had whatchamacallit? Having a brain fart here. A little bit older of a EDA or a controlled equity offering, basically not the market. But again, as I cover almost on a weekly basis, they haven't really used much of it. Terminated the old one. You can kind of see the outstanding shares here have stayed the same. So not a whole lot of conviction on that, but just something to keep in mind. So if you guys, again, if I missed some stocks or you want me to cover them, I don't play every stock that's in play. So feel free to, shoot me over a DM. I'll be sure to cover it in a weekly video. But that's all I got for this week. Again, sorry for wrapping up early. Heading out of town for the weekend. So hope you guys have a nice weekend. We'll see you Monday.